Attention boaters and cruisers in the St. Augustine area. The St. Augustine Cruisers Network broadcast is about to begin on channel 72. That's channel 72 for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network broadcast. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, boaters and cruisers in the St. Augustine area. Please stand by for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network broadcast for Saturday, May 16th, 2026. Break, break. Anyone currently using this channel, I'd like to kindly ask you to switch your working traffic to another channel. We will be conducting the broadcast this morning. It'll take between 45 minutes and an hour. We appreciate your cooperation. Please stand by for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network broadcast. We'll take a brief break to clear the channel. We'll be right back with the broadcast. Stand by. Good morning, boaters and cruisers in the St. Augustine area. Hopefully everyone's enjoying this steamy, warm Saturday morning here in the ancient city, our nation's oldest city, St. Augustine, Florida. My name is Brian Bliss, and I'm broadcasting live this morning from the motor vessel Ovation at the Comanche Cove Marina for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network. Special thanks to Admiral Yacht Sales for providing this wonderful boat that we're doing the broadcast from this morning. We conduct this broadcast, the St. Augustine Cruisers Network live broadcast is conducted every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. on VHF Channel 72. We also have a St. Augustine Cruisers Network Facebook page. It's a private page. It's a very useful page. Works hand in hand with the broadcast. Allows us to share vital information about services and products that are available to our cruising community while you're cruising through the St. Augustine area. We conduct this broadcast to share important information with our boating community, and I encourage participation. If you see something and you would like to share it with the group, there will be a designated area in this morning's broadcast, open forum, where we'll have specific topics. But I do encourage participation. If you've seen something you want to share with the group, please do so at any break in this morning's broadcast. Remember, this is a live VHF radio channel in St. Augustine, Florida, one of the most popular destinations on the east coast of Florida. So there will be several breaks in this morning's broadcast. This morning's broadcast will run about 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll go over some local marine information, some tidal and weather information, as well as have our Ancient City roll call and open forum, and we'll have our blessing of the day. So put you a fresh pot of coffee on, and have you a pen and piece of paper handy. There may be some useful information that you may pick up from this morning's broadcast. St. Augustine is a very popular destination, not just because of how amazing the city is, but also because of the proximity of our inlet. It's a very convenient location. The proximity is very close to the Intercoastal Waterway and to the city of St. Augustine, making it very convenient to stop in on your voyage and spend some much needed time on land in this amazing city, as well as reprovision your vessel for your further travels. But with this close proximity of the inlet to our city, we do experience very strong currents here in and around the city of St. Augustine. The best way to negotiate those currents is to know your tides. So I'd like to share the tidal information with you for the St. Augustine, downtown St. Augustine area for the next several days. I get my tidal information from the usharbors.com website, and the information and times I'll give you will be for the city docks. And those of you looking for slack water in the St. Augustine area, slack water is plus 50. That's 50 minutes after the tidal change is the best time to anticipate slack water. It's a plus 50. Today, Saturday, we're just coming off our high tide at 8:40 this morning, and the tide will be ebbing out. You're probably still right in the middle of your slack tide now, and then we'll have that ebb tide going out, and our low tide will be this afternoon at 2:53. Followed by a high tide this evening just after 9 o'clock at 9:08. Tomorrow, we're going to have that high tide early in the morning at 9:35 a.m. in the morning. That ebb tide pretty much all day, leading to that low tide at 3:43 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Monday, that high tide's a little later in the morning at 10:30 a.m. on Monday for high tide. And the low tide on Monday will be at about 4:30 in the afternoon. Please use caution when boating in and around the St. Augustine area. We do get those strong currents. The best way to negotiate them is to know your tides. Then remember, those of you looking for slack water in the downtown St. Augustine area is 50 minutes past the tidal change. That's 50 minutes. Our marine forecast I get for the St. Augustine area, I get from the NOAA website. This is our near coastal forecast out to 20 miles between St. Augustine and Flagler Beach. Today, Saturday, we're going to have southeast winds, 10 to 15 knots. Our seas offshore are going to be 3 to 5 feet with a moderate chop on the inland waterways. Sunday, tomorrow, much of the same thing. It's going to be like a carbon copy for the next couple days. Those southeast winds, 10 to 15 knots. Seas, 3 to 5 feet with a moderate chop on the offshore water or inshore waters. Monday, those winds come more out of the east. Again, 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet with a moderate chop on the inland waters. And our weather forecast I get for the St. Augustine area, I get from the Weather Channel. And it's going to be absolutely beautiful here in St. Augustine this weekend. So hopefully everyone's having an amazing morning, and you got plans to get out and enjoy this wonderful city. Today we're going to have a high about 84 degrees with a low about 75. It's going to be kind of humid. You can feel it this morning. It's a little warmer this morning. I stepped outside and I was like, whoa, it's a lot warmer than it was yesterday morning. But we're going to have sunny weather. It's going to be beautiful today. A couple passing clouds. and a 15% chance of rain. When it does get real hot and humid like this, sometimes our sea breeze can cause some afternoon showers. Tomorrow, high 85, low, just like today, low 70s. It's going to be a little cloudier tomorrow with a little bit more increased chance of rain tomorrow. About 20% chance of rain, afternoon showers as it heats up. Monday, we're going to have a high temperatures about 85 degrees, lows in the low 70s. Again, mostly sunny, 10% chance of rain. It's going to be beautiful this weekend, so get out and enjoy this amazing city. We do get those afternoon sea breezes that blow up, and it does create for a little choppy conditions in and around the harbor in the afternoons. Really just be aware of your tides and use caution with the currents in and around the city of St. Augustine. Then I'd like to ask you to please be courteous with your wakes when you're boating in and around St. Augustine. You are responsible for your wakes. Be aware of what the currents are doing. So if you've got your, if you've got a following tide and make sure you slow down enough time to not send your wake through the no wake zones. That's going to wrap up our weather and tidal information of this morning's broadcast. Really, the biggest thing is get out there and enjoy this awesome city. Make sure you got some sunscreen, and then know your tides so you can anticipate these strong currents around St. Augustine. We're going to take a break, pour some fresh coffee. When we get back, we're going to have our Ancient City roll call and open forum. Please stand by. Welcome back, boaters and cruisers in the St. Augustine area. Hopefully everyone's having a great morning this morning in St. Augustine, Florida, our nation's oldest city. My name is Brian Bliss, and I'm broadcasting live this morning for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network broadcast, coming to you live this morning from the motor vessel Ovation at Comanche Cove Marina. Right now is the portion of the broadcast where we like to do our roll call and our open forum. But before we get started, I'd like to tell you about this morning's sponsor for our Ancient City roll call. It is Anchor Eats. Anchor Eats is a nautical delivery service right here in St. Augustine, Florida. It is the DoorDash on the water. No longer do the deliveries stop at land. You can now get groceries, provisions, hot food, and cold treats delivered right to your boat. Check out Anchor Eats Facebook page for weekly specials, and also look at their website, getanchoreats.com, to order your groceries today, or look for the orange dinghy in the mooring fields and anchorages and flag them down. They monitor channel 6-9. That's Anchor Eats, connecting land to sea. Now is a portion of this morning's broadcast where we try to reach out and find out who's listening to us here this morning in the ancient city and see how far we're reaching with our St. Augustine Cruisers Network. So now is the time we're going to do our ancient city roll call. So if you're listening in this morning and you'd like to check in, please check in and tell us the name of your boat, where you're located, so we know how far we're reaching. If you'd like to check in with our ancient city roll call, please do so now. Good morning. I'd like to thank those boaters that checked in this morning. I remember about 20 years ago listening to my first Cruisers Network broadcast in the Abaco. And I remember being so nervous. We would listen to it every day or every broadcast, and then we would be nervous on who was going to check in, and a lot of times we would just listen. So those of you that are listening out there, hopefully you get some useful information. Those of you that checked in and chime in, we do encourage and appreciate your participation. Well, now let's get going with our open forum. This is a tool that we use to share vital information with our cruising community and boating community about services and products that are available and just general information that's available while you're here in the St. Augustine area. So let's get going. Do we have any boaters, any new arrivals, or anybody that's here in the city of St. Augustine listening to us this morning that needs any information about services or products that are available here in the St. Augustine area? If you need any information or if we can help you in any way, please let us know now. Now, do we have any boaters or cruisers in the area that are trying to lighten their load, trying to sell anything or donate anything or trade anything while you're in the St. Augustine area and you'd like to share it with the group? Please do so now. Now is the portion for our lost and found section. Has anybody lost anything or found anything they'd like to share with the group? If so, please do so now. And do we have any boaters or cruisers in the area that are departing, planning their departure, or have any questions about departing or the towns north or south of St. Augustine? If so, please let us know now. All right, now is the time for our general announcement. Is there anybody that would like to wish a happy birthday, happy anniversary, share any kind of announcement with the group? If so, please do so now. All right, I'd like to thank those that chimed in this morning and listened in on our open forum and our roll call this morning. Remember, we do this broadcast every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. And we also record every broadcast and post it on the Anchor Eats Boating Bliss YouTube channel. So if you missed any information or you'd like to catch any of our older previous broadcasts on Tuesdays, I talk a little bit more about services and products that are available in the city. If you'd like to check out any of our older broadcasts, you can look at the Anchor Eats Boating Bliss YouTube channel. Also, remember to check out that St. Augustine Cruisers Network Facebook page. This is a private page. It's a very useful page. It's a great tool to share information, to gain information. Today's Saturday. We have a lot of our vendors and local people that are in the boating business that offer wonderful services here in St. Augustine. Saturdays they run their ads. So I encourage you checking out that Facebook page. That's the St. Augustine Cruisers Network Facebook page. It is the private page. And remember to check out Anchor Eats, nautical delivery service, the DoorDash on the water. Now I'd like to share a little bit of information about some of the events going on in and around the city of St. Augustine. St. Augustine's a very busy city. It's a very popular city. Nice thing about St. Augustine is there's always something to do, or one of the greatest things is it's a wonderful place to do nothing. Just sit back, read a book, and watch the day go by. There's nothing like it. But I found a couple forms of information I'd like to share with you that could give you some information about some of the events that are happening in and around the city. I found a very useful website called visitstaugustine.com. This is a very helpful website. It tells you about all the events and farmers markets and concerts and all the things happening in and around the city of St. Augustine. It really is a great website to do your own homework and find what you want to do in this great city. We are actually right in the middle of the Romanza Festival, and those of you into ballet, we do have Rapunzel. It's a ballet show today in downtown St. Augustine. More about that by checking out that visitstaugustine.com website. A very popular event for our boaters and cruisers and all of our locals to do on Saturdays is we have a Saturday's farmers market that happens at the amphitheater. The amphitheater is an outdoor venue. They get great live bands and music. They get headliner bands, just great bands. I mean, you can get your favorite band there at the amphitheater. It's very popular. They get live music all the time. But they also do a farmers market every Saturday from 8:30 to 12:30. This is a great event. It has hundreds of vendors, lots of everything from vegetables to jewelry to baked goods. They have a little bit of everything. They have a jam session that they do that is second to none. If you're a musician, take your instrument with you. They have a great jam session up on the deck there. And I've heard they have some of the best Bloody Marys in all of St. Augustine. You can find out more about the amphitheater and the amphitheater's farmers market day today by checking out the amphitheater's website, theamp.com. Check that out. If you're here in St. Augustine for a little while, maybe you'll be able to catch a cool show, maybe your favorite band. Those farmers markets keep going all through the weekend. Tomorrow we have two great farmers markets located here in the city. My personal favorite is the Classic Car Museum Farmers Market. This is a great farmers market they do. It will require a small Uber ride to get to it. It is just south of town. It's from 10 to 2, and it just really is a great farmers market. They have live music, fresh veggies. It's just a great farmers market to check out. That's from 10 to 2 at the Classic Car Museum on Sundays. Also on Sundays, we have a new farmers market. It's the North City Market up at Schooners. This is just north of town, up by the north gates of St. Augustine. This takes place every Sunday. This is a great event. Live music, pet-friendly, free parking, lots of vendors. It's up at the Schooners parking lot, just north of the city, on Sundays from 9 to 12:30. Only information I want to share with you is that amphitheater, unfortunately, they are not pet friendly. So that farmer's market is not a pet friendly farmer's market unless you have a service animal. So your four-legged friends or family members have to stay at home if you're going to go to the farmer's market at the amphitheater. That's just some of the things happening in and around the city of St. Augustine. Just get out there and enjoy it. We're going to have beautiful weather this weekend. Now, we had an ancient city trivia question that we said on Thursday's show. And we have a winner. Our question was, which historic explorer named St. Augustine Harbor the River of Dolphins? And what year did they do that? There's lots of historic figures here at St. Augustine, so I think this one's a little challenging, but we did have a winner. The correct answer, and we'll give you the whole story. We had a winner. The correct answer was Rene de Londonniere. And that answer came to us from Captain Ed Maddox on the Wolverine. Congratulations, Captain Ed. You won a discounted bottom cleaning or service from Clear Blue Sea Services, right here in St. Augustine. Clear Blue Sea Services, they do underwater work, a little bit of everything. The owner, Charles, he's very knowledgeable, great guy, and he's a great contributor to the St. Augustine Cruisers Network. And he provided us a 15% discount on any standard bottom job here in the St. Augustine area. So congratulations, Captain Ed, on the Wolverine. You're the winner. Those of you that like to find out more information about Clear Blue Sea Services, you can check out their website, clearblueseaservices.com, or you can call them direct. Give Charles a call, 904-635-2628. Again, 904-635-BOAT. So I want to go into depth on the answer there that we had. In 1562, French Huguenot Captain John Ribault was exploring the northeast Florida coast, charting the inlet here of present-day St. Augustine and the Matanzas River. Commenting on the diverse wildlife that is located here in the St. Augustine Harbor. Captain John Ribault's Lieutenant Rene Goulain de Laudonniere, sorry if I messed that up there, Rene. He was the lieutenant that was making the maps and charts, and he is the first one to document the harbor of St. Augustine as the River of Dolphins. Congratulations, Captain Ed and the Wolverine. We're going to take a quick break, clear the channel. When we get back, we're going to have some local marine information, so please stand by. All right, we're here at Comanche Cove Marina. Give you a walk around this beautiful boat, Ovation. Here's the scripts and all the writing and all the stuff we stay up trying to figure out what to tell and speak about on the radio show. Here's the Comanche Cove Marina. That's Admiral Yacht Sales right there. And this is the Freedom Boat Club. And this is the Blue Marlin Club. It's been around a long time here at St. Augustine. And here we are down here. You can see the Comanche Cove Harbor Master's office there. This is the entrance out here
You can see the dredge pipe. They are currently dredging here in the intercoastal, in the Comanche Cove. This channel right here leads out, and you have a breakwater, and it protects you. There's very little current inside this harbor here. So it's a nice thing about Comanche Cove is they have a breakwater that splits it all up. Over here in this corner is a full service boat yard. This is the Comanche Cove boat yard, full service boat yard. They also have lots of stores and restaurants and shops located here at Comanche Cove. And here is this beautiful ovation provided to us by Admiral Yacht Sales. This is a beautiful motor yacht. Has nice air conditioning on a warm day like today. And Mark Drukas over there at Admiral Yacht Sales, if you need anything boating related, whether it be dinghies or full-size boats, power or sail, engines, whatever you may need. Mark's been in the business for about 30 years, so he's very knowledgeable, very helpful. Give him a call. He's at Admiral Yacht Sales. And here it is. This is Comanche Cove Marina. It's going to be a beautiful day here in St. Augustine, Florida. So hopefully you're out there enjoying it. Hopefully you can stay cool. It is going to be a warm one today. All right, here we are. Let's get back to the show.
Can I get help from an agent?
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed that little walk around. And we're back to the show.
Welcome back, boaters and cruisers in the St. Augustine area. Hopefully everyone's having an awesome morning this morning in St. Augustine, Florida, our nation's oldest city, also known as the Ancient City. My name is Brian Bliss, and I'm broadcasting live this morning from the Comanche Cove Marina for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network live broadcast. Special thanks to Admiral Yacht Sales for providing this wonderful boat for us to do the broadcast from this morning. Now is a portion of this morning's broadcast where I'd like to talk about some local marine information about the city of St. Augustine. This includes our marinas and dinghy dock locations and our mooring fields and some of the different services available. Hopefully there's some information in this portion of the broadcast that's useful. I am a Northeast Florida native. Been boating on these waters for almost 30 years. But if you guys are out there cruising, if you see something and you're cruising and you see something that's different than what I've said, please feel free, chime in and share that information with the group. This is the portion of the broadcast where we like to share local information for our actual cruising community that are navigating the St. Augustine area. We talked about the inlet and how it makes it for a very popular destination, how it's very close to the city, and it does create strong currents in and around the city of St. Augustine. But also that inlet, we do get sandbars and shoals both north and south of the Mark Channel in the inlet there. So I highly recommend if you're outbound and you're departing St. Augustine, stay inside the Mark Channel markers all the way to the sea buoy before making your northern or southern turn. I do not recommend cutting the corners unless you have local knowledge. Same concept applies if you're inbound. If you're inbound St. Augustine, start your approach from the sea buoy. Again, we do get significant shoaling and sandbars both north and south of the Mark Channel markers in the inlet here at St. Augustine. Then also remember we get very strong currents here in St. Augustine, and the closer you get to the inlet, the more that's apparent. St. Augustine Inlet. Use caution when transiting that inlet. It can be completely different on the ebb tide as opposed to the flood. So do your homework and make sure you stay inside the channel markers all the way to the sea buoy. Now, if you're inbound St. Augustine, there's nothing like it. You're starting your approach from the sea buoy. You're coming on that western course. You got the cross, which is the beacon of faith, blessing the entire harbor. You have the fort guarding the harbor. You have the lighthouse lighting your way. It really is a majestic entrance into a great little city. I want to tell you, everybody's familiar with everything downtown, the fort and the bridge and everything downtown. I want to tell you about some of the towns and areas that are north and south and west of St. Augustine that are close enough for exploring, and it makes for a great time here in St. Augustine. When you're inbound and you look off your starboard side or in a northern direction, you'll see the white sandy beach there that's just north of the inlet. This is called Porpoise Point, is the name of that little beach area. That town where that beach is located is called Volano Beach. As you come around the point there, looking in a northern direction, you'll see a fixed bridge there. That fixed bridge is the Volano Beach Bridge, or also known as the Usina Beach Bridge. On the eastern side of that bridge, where it meets the island of Volano Beach, you'll see a fishing pier there. This fishing pier has a daily city dock that you can utilize for daily dockage that comes off of that Volano Beach fishing pier. This gives you great access to the town of Volano Beach. Volano Beach has stores, restaurants, shops. Most importantly, they have a Publix supermarket. So you can provision your vessel. This is very convenient. It's not a very long walk, but if you're going to be picking up heavy supplies like cases of water, I would bring a wagon because it's a long walk with a case of water. Also on that dinghy dock, you'll notice there are some yellow painted areas. Please do not park in those areas or dock in those areas. We load water taxis and shuttles there. There are plenty of there's extra space, and there's plenty of other room for you to dock your boat to be able to roam into the town of Volano Beach. Also remember the current is very strong in the Volano Beach area, and that dinghy dock is not located in any type of wake restriction zone, so you are at full mercy to the wakes and currents there. I highly recommend a proper tie with your dinghy if you're going to leave your dinghy there. And remember, there's boats that are anchored just south of that bridge. That's our Volano anchorage. There are people on those boats, so be courteous with your wakes when boating in and around the Volano area there. Now on the western side of that fixed bridge, that's where I'm broadcasting from today. That's our first of our big 3 marinas that are here in St. Augustine. The marina that's located up there on the north end, on the western side of that fixed bridge in Volano, is called the Comanche Cove Marina. That's where we're broadcasting from this morning. That's the home of Admiral Yacht Sales. Comanche Cove Marina is a full-service marina. They offer transient dockage, fuel sales, diesel sales, and pump-out services. Nice thing about Comanche Cove is they have a breakwater when you enter into their channel. This cuts out most, if not all, of the current inside of their harbor. Be advised, before you go through the breakwater, you will have current on the beam. Use caution. Comanche Cove Marina is currently dredging their harbor. So if you're approaching Comanche Cove Marina, I would call them on their channel. They monitor channel 68. That's 68 on the VHF radio for Comanche Cove Marina. Contact them on the radio. They can contact the dredge, have the dredge get out of your way, and you can have a nice, safe approach into the Comanche Cove Marina. Comanche Cove has lots of stores, shops, and restaurants, and a full-service boat yard located here on their property. Between the Comanche Cove Marina and that dinghy dock in Volano Beach, it gives you great access to the stores, shops, restaurants, and marine supply places that are located north of town. There is a marine supply place in Volano Beach right by the pier, and there's also the Fountain of Youth that's located up here, as well as the old jail, Walgreens, and CVS. That's the area north of the inlet that's called Volano Beach. Back to the inlet. If you're inbound in the inlet, you look off in the southern direction. At the end of the jetties here, you look to the south, you'll see a set of channel markers. This is a body of water called Salt Run. There is a mooring field located at the back of Salt Run. It's a city mooring field. It is the Salt Run mooring field. It's located all the way back underneath the lighthouse. The Salt Run body of water is like a dead-end lagoon. It does not reconnect with the intercoastal waterway. If you go into there, you do have to come back out that same channel. Located back by the Salt Run mooring field is a dock back there, a dinghy dock that is at the boat ramp back there underneath the lighthouse. It's located at the St. Augustine Yacht Club. You can utilize this dock for short-term dockage to explore the shops, stores, and restaurants that are south of the city. This does include the amphitheater, which we spoke about earlier with their farmers market today, as well as the surf station surf shop. It's a full-blown, huge surf shop that sells stand-up paddleboards, kayak equipment, surfboard equipment and accessories, as well as beach apparel. Go see the folks over there at the surf station. Tell them you heard about them on the Cruisers Net, and they'll take really good care of you. Also up there, this is south of the city, or a walk in the western direction, or eastern direction from the city marina over the Bridge of Lions. This is where we're talking about the Anastasia Island area. There's also the lighthouse there, which is a great thing to do if you haven't done the lighthouse. I highly recommend it. It was built when Ulysses S. Grant was still the president. We also have the alligator farm up there, some of our oldest residents. We have a mini golf course. We also have a chocolate factory, a skating rink, and lots of stores, shops, and restaurants that are south or west of the city. Excuse me, east of the city. Also up Salt Run is our second of our big three marinas. This is a local favorite marina that's located up Salt Run. It's called the Conch House Marina. Conch House Marina is a full-service marina. They sell fuel, diesel, they have pump-out services, as well as transient dockage. The Conch House Marina has a very popular restaurant and tiki bar located on their property that's very popular for our locals. The Conch House Marina is a very busy marina, especially today on the weekends. There's a lot of people going to the restaurant, to the tiki bar. So if you're going to go to the Conch House for any kind of services, I highly recommend calling them on their direct channel. Their direct channel they monitor on VHF is 69. 69 for the Conch House Marina. I would notify them prior to your arrival so you can get into the queue and make sure that you have adequate assistance when you get to the dock. The staff at the Conch House Marina is very knowledgeable and helpful, and we do get those very strong currents here in the St. Augustine area, so you want to make sure you have adequate assistance when you get to the dock. That is the Conch House Marina up Salt Run. Now, when you're heading northbound and you're leaving Salt Run, you'll see that little beach area off your starboard side, just east of the channel markers there. That's a very popular place for our boaters to go. It's the backside of Anastasia Island. It'll be very busy today with people anchored up there. It's a great place to go explore and unwind. It's an all-natural, pristine beach. And that's that area just east of the Salt Run Channel as you're exiting the channel back into the inlet. That is the area south of the city of St. Augustine. South of the inlet. When you're inbound in that inlet, there is nothing like it. People have been coming in here for hundreds of years. It's just a majestic entrance here. You have the fort, one of the oldest structures in North America. You have the bayfront there, all the boats that are anchored on the moorings just north of the Bridge of Lions here. That is our San Marco mooring field. This is a city mooring field, one of 3 that the city maintains. This mooring field is north of the Bridge of Lions. It's the San Marco mooring field. It's behind the fort and behind the bayfront. This is what it's all about. This is what coming to St. Augustine's all about. Sitting there watching the day go by. It's absolutely amazing. We talked briefly about that bridge. One of the most recognizable structures in St. Augustine is our very own Bridge of Lions. It's a very busy bridge. It's right in the heart of St. Augustine. And most of our cruisers and boaters, it's a bascule bridge after required to open to pass through. The Bridge of Lions opens on a schedule. The schedule is on the hour and on the half hour. And if you need to contact the bridge, they monitor channel 09 as well as all bridges in the state of Florida. Be advised, this is when you need to know your currents. You may not realize that you have 4 knots of current with you until you're waiting for a bridge opening. So make sure you do your homework about your tides and be aware of the strong currents here in the St. Augustine area. Just south on the western bank of the Bridge of Lions is our 3rd of our big 3 marinas here in St. Augustine. This is the St. Augustine Municipal Marina. This is a very large, very busy, this is the city's marina. This is the doorstep to the city. The St. Augustine Municipal Marina is a full-service marina offering diesel sales, fuel sales, pump-out services, both dockside and mobile. They also offer transient dockage. And they provide a wonderful service to our 2 downtown mooring fields. We have a mooring field south of the bridge called the Menendez Mooring Field, and we have the mooring field north of the bridge called the San Marco Mooring Field. These 2 downtown mooring fields, the city offers a great shuttle service that goes to these mooring fields. Shuttle service runs daily starting at 10 a.m. and it runs until 6 p.m. in 2-hour intervals. The city also offers a mobile pump out service. They like to do this early in the day, so I recommend calling them early to schedule it or calling them the day before. They will come to your boat in the mooring fields and anchorages and give you a pump out for a small fee. It's a great feature, great service that we have here in the St. Augustine area to keep our waters clean. Those of you not staying in the mooring fields that would still like to use the dinghy dock, you can purchase a daily dinghy pass from the City Marina. The St. Augustine Municipal Marina has daily dinghy passes for sale. This does give you access to the dinghy dock, the doorstep to the city, as well as the shower, laundry room, and lounge. The St. Augustine City Marina is a very busy marina, extremely busy. And I highly recommend, if you're going to come there for any type of service, that you call them on their direct channel VHF channel 71. You can give the very knowledgeable staff at the St. Augustine Municipal Marina a call on VHF channel 71 and get in the queue to make sure that you have adequate assistance when you arrive to the dock. We do experience those very strong currents in and around the city, and this is no more this is most apparent in the city marina. Remember to give the city marina a call on channel 71. That's the municipal marina. They're very knowledgeable staff. Will be more than eager to help you. They're very knowledgeable. They're ambassadors to the city. They can help you with all kinds of information. That's the St. Augustine Municipal Marina on channel 71. South of the Bridge of Lions, you have the Menendez mooring field. This is our Leave It to Beaver neighborhood here. A little larger mooring field, a little further away from the inlet, so a little more protected, a little further away from the inlet and the conditions there. Just know there is some slight shoaling that's just east of the Menendez mooring field, between the mooring field and the intercoastal waterway. It's marked very well by channel markers as well as on your chart plotter. Just make sure you do your homework when you're departing or arriving to the Menendez mooring field. Again, you can always call the St. Augustine Municipal Marina on 71 to get any information that you need. Just south of the city, you'll see a fixed bridge there. Just before that fixed bridge, off of your starboard side, if you're southbound or in a westerly direction, you'll see a set of channel markers there. These channel markers lead back to a river called the San Sebastian River. This is a river that runs up the back spine of downtown St. Augustine. Up this river are several marinas and full-service boat yards, as well as restaurants and marine supply stores. It is home to a lot of our liveaboards, so please use caution and be courteous with your wakes, especially up the San Sebastian River, as it is a narrow body of water. But really, the entire area of St. Augustine, there are people on all those boats. Please be courteous, and you are responsible for your wake. But if you go up the San Sebastian River, you'll see a marina there called the Cat's Paw Marina. This is a small marina dry stack facility that sells fuel and diesel. More importantly, they have a daily dock that you can utilize to explore some of the shops, stores, and restaurants that are just west of town. This includes their restaurant they have on property, the Grouper Shack, which is a local favorite, as well as Home Depot, Target, West Marine, and Pet Supermarket, and lots of other stores, shops, and restaurants that are west of the city. You can utilize that daily dock at the Cat's Paw Marina. If you need to give them your contact information in case of emergencies, but you can utilize that dock to explore the western attractions of St. Augustine. This is just some of the information about the waters in and around the city of St. Augustine. Hopefully there was something that was useful for you. Remember, again, please be courteous with your wakes in and around the city, and be aware of these strong currents that we get here in the St. Augustine area. Know your tides. Remember, those of you looking for slack water, the slack water in St. Augustine is plus 50. That is 50 minutes after the tidal change. That's 50 minutes after the tidal change for slack water. All right, we're going to take a quick break and clear the channel, catch my breath. When we get back, we're going to have our daily blessing and close the show. Please stand by. cruisers in the St. Augustine area. Hopefully everyone's having a great morning this morning in St. Augustine, Florida, our nation's oldest city. My name is Brian Bliss, broadcasting live this morning for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network. It's going to be a beautiful day today. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. It's going to be hot and sunny, so get out there and enjoy this amazing city. Remember that we do this St. Augustine Cruisers Network broadcast every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 a.m. We do it to share information with our boating community. If you would like to join our broadcast family and do a broadcast from your boat, we would love to have it every day. You can do it your style, your way. If you need help with a script, I can give you some information, but we encourage participation in our St. Augustine Cruisers Network broadcast team. If talking on the radio is not your thing and you'd like to host an event, we have done the broadcast from guest boats, host boats several times this year. We've done it from the Black Raven pirate ship. We've done it from the Cover Girl motor yacht. We've done it from several of our cruisers and boaters sailboats in and around the city. If you'd like to do that, reach out to me, Brian Bliss, through the Cruisers Network. We have thousands of members. Either I'll see it or somebody will see it and they'll get in touch with me and we'll be able to work something out, and we can share the message with our boating community from your boat. Remember to check out that St. Augustine Cruisers Network Facebook page. It's a great way to share information and to gain information. They also plan events. Last night or this week we had an event at the Blue Parrot that if you go to their Facebook page, it's a private page. Scroll over to the event section and see what events they have planned. It's a great way to meet fellow cruisers. Remember, Saturday is our day where our vendors and our promotion day on the Facebook page. So if you're looking for dive services or detail services or any kind of services, rigging services, check out that Facebook page. We've got a lot of good vendors advertising today on the Facebook page. That's St. Augustine Cruisers Network Facebook page. It is the private one with a red and white burgee on the picture. Then remember, Anchor Eats, Boating Bliss records all of these broadcasts and we play them on our YouTube channel. That's the Anchor Eats, Boating Bliss YouTube channel. You can catch any of our previous or past broadcasts that we've done for the St. Augustine Cruisers Network this season. Now I'd like to do a blessing, so please stand by for this morning's daily blessing. May your journey today be blessed with fair winds following seas, ensuring safe passage and smooth sailing on your voyage. May your heart be anchored in peace and your sails filled with strength. Guiding you through any storm towards calm, prosperous shores. Remember to be kind and to live proper and make amazing memories while you're here in St. Augustine. And above all, remember this: others dream of the lives that we live. We are all truly blessed. Whether you're a sailboater, power boater, fisherman, kayaker, work in the industry, no matter what you do, if you do it on the water, we are blessed to be stewards of the sea. Remember to check out that Facebook page, St. Augustine Cruisers Network Facebook page. Our next broadcast is Tuesday at 9 a.m. on channel 72. Special thanks to Admiral Yacht Sales for providing us this great boat. Also, thanks to Anchor Eats for sponsoring this morning's show, our nautical delivery service here in St. Augustine. Special thanks to Clear Blue Sea Services for sponsoring our Ancient City trivia question, and congratulations to Captain Ed on the Wolverine. We'll get out there and enjoy this amazing day. It's going to be wonderful here in St. Augustine. It's going to be hot. Get out there and have a great day. On behalf of myself, Brian Bliss, and the St. Augustine Cruisers Network team, hopefully everybody has a great day. I have nothing further. We're going to be clear going back to 1-6. Have a wonderful day. You guys get out there and enjoy this amazing Saturday. It's going to be beautiful here in St. Augustine. It's already a warm one. The Freedom Boat Club people are heading out. They're all heading to that sandbar. It's going to be busy today. So get out there on the water and enjoy this amazing day. On behalf of myself, have a wonderful day. Have a nice weekend. We'll be back live on Tuesday at 9 a.m. on Channel 72. Have a wonderful day.